Hello and welcome to another video. I am back today with another charity shop haul, and for like the fourth week in a row, actually pretty good one this week again. Got quite a few books here to show you off, and we are going to start with Night Show by Richard Lehman. Now this is one that I actually couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if I can get the word out if I had this or not. Turns out I do, but the shop in question had an offer of like 3 books for £1.50, and there was one that I did really want, so I thought, even if I do have this, you know, I'll pick it up because it's going to be kind of like free essentially. So I do already have this one in slightly better condition as well. So that'll be going back to the charity shops, but like I said, that's essentially free, more or less. Next up we have Anne Rice, Blood and Gold, the breathtaking new bestseller in the Vampire Chronicles. So I have quite a few of the Vampire Chronicles books. I've only actually read the first one, Interview with the Vampire, but I would like to get around to the others at some point. Kind of a boring cover, to be honest, on that one, but that's fine. It's what's inside that counts. Speaking of boring covers, I also picked up another Anne Rice book which has an even more boring cover, Blackwood Farm. Again, this is part of the Vampire Chronicles, and I'll have to have a look to see where this fits in the order. I know the second one is the Vampire Lestat, and the third one is Queen of the Damned. I'm not sure what the order looks like after that, but I really enjoyed Interview with the Vampire. I've heard that the others are very different. Lestat kind of turns into more of like an anti-hero in like the later books in the series, so interesting to see like what happens there. I think a lot of the stuff in Interview with the Vampire is written off as Louis being somewhat of an unreliable narrator, so a lot of the stuff that he's kind of like putting on Lestat kind of is not really true, because Lestat does come across like an absolute bastard in the first book. But I'll see when I get around to the other ones. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of like where that goes and how they deal with that. But yeah, nice to find those two. This is one I've been after for a while. Oscar Wilde, Picture of Dorian Gray. Wanted to read this for a long time, and finally picked up a copy, which is pretty cool. Like I said, this is like one of the classic horror stories. What, I'm not sure if you really call it a horror story, but certainly supernatural elements and stuff like that, and quite a bit of additional content there as well, which is quite cool. Again, not the best cover, but you know, what are you gonna do? Next up we have another one from that shop that I essentially got for free. I probably wouldn't pick this up otherwise, but Killers of the Flower Moon. This is a non-fiction book about the birth of the FBI, which I've listened to a lot of podcasts about the birth of the FBI, but now we have a book which I may or may not get around to, but it does seem kind of interesting. And I'm not entirely sure if that is like a film tie-in or something. Did they do a movie on it? I'm not sure. Not sure. That's got the look of a movie poster on the front. It might not be, but yeah, I'm sure that's going to be quite interesting if and when I get around to that one. So another non-fiction book, technically non-fiction, the Handbook of Haunted Dolls. This goes through the history of quite a lot of different haunted dolls, quite famous ones, and it shows off like pictures of them in the back, not in the back, I mean throughout. So you have pictures of each doll and then story behind them, and everyone loves like a creepy doll. Well, objectively a lot of people don't, but it's something definitely something I'm interested in. So it's nice to get a book dedicated to these. They mostly look very innocent, to be perfectly honest with you. Apart from that one, that I mean, clearly that one's haunted, but a lot of these kind of like look pretty innocent. But yeah, definitely an interesting book there. That's also like 100% haunted. There's no way it can't be. Peggy. So the last ones are all hardbacks. So we have The Ultimate Frankenstein, 18 original stories from best-selling authors including Brian Aldiss and Charles Dillint, and a classic from Kurt Vonnegut. And that is what it says on the back. I've got a couple of Frankenstein themed anthologies, so there is more than likely going to be crossover here, but yeah, another one to add to the shelves. So you have that stuff there, and you also have all of those. Yep, so definitely an interesting find there. Yeah, I like the cover on that as well. It's pretty cool. Next up we have a hardback upgrade for me, because I do have this one in paperback. Dean R. Koontz, The House of Thunder. So in fact I've got two paperback copies of this. I have Dean Koontz paperback and the original Lee Nichols paperback, because he originally wrote this under the name Lee Nichols. So I have that paperback as well, which I will be keeping, but this will replace my Dean Koontz paperback copy. And that's the blurb in there if you want to read that. And finally we have another non-fiction book. The cover of this kind of drew me in. Weird England, your travel guide to England's local legends and best kept secrets. So this is like jam-packed with pictures. It's got a load of like really odd English locations and stuff like that. I love that guy on the cover. He's awesome. But this is full of pictures. Weird looking rocks, stone circles, a dude, mermaids, masks and shit. Yeah, really interesting thing to flick through this and find out all these kind of like weird locations. So nice little find, that definitely a nice little find. yeah, cool. So that was everything that I picked up today. As you can see, like quite a decent week again this week. Last few weeks have been really good, and today didn't disappoint. So yeah, hopefully this keeps going. In a couple of weeks I'm actually going to Cardiff. Hopefully I can scope out some charity shops there and see what Wales has got in store for me in terms of horror finds. But that will be it for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please click like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.